Are a lot of parents not allowing sleepovers anymore? My kids are 10-13 and are either gone every weekend or their friends are at our house. My nephew is a single parent of a 12-year-old girl. He absolutely refuses to let her have friends sleep over. He doesn't want to be in a situation where he is alone with an underage girl. The only parents I know that don't allow sleepovers is if their own kid has anything allergy-related, digestive issues, or if the medication that their kid needs to take can be abused. One kid a few years back had to get rushed to the hospital because of a severe allergic reaction. The parents warned the parents of the friend of the kid of the allergy, but those other parents didn't believe that it was that serious and sneak shellfish into the dinner anyways to trick the allergic kid into eating it. Among my friends' kids, sleepovers are still very common and also alternate giving the parents a well-deserved night to themselves or to go out with friends. We are also in the USA. As a kid, I had so much fun and have so many happy memories of sleepovers with my friends. They also allowed me a little dose of independence, got me out of my comfort zone, let me learn about families from other countries and try some new foods. This post is the first I've heard about families not allowing them and makes me incredibly sad. My parents didn't want us to have sleepovers, especially my dad was concerned. They didn't want us sleeping over at other friends' houses and thought it to be hypocritical to only allow friends to stay at our house. Also, our house is not huge. We did have friends over and go to friends' houses but not sleepovers. They did let us attend ones run by the school if we wanted, like field trips that went overnight, or sometimes there were sleepovers in the school itself. I used to think it was a bit much not to let us go to sleepovers, but in late elementary something happened to a friend of mine at one. So yeah. I've got an 8-year-old. So far we will not permit it. As parents we will revisit this decision in 2 years. But I'm not a huge fan of the idea. I came from a highly abusive home that no one suspected on the outside, and I know at least one person who had some questionable experiences at sleepovers. My daughter had her first sleepover with her best friend at 12 years old. The years prior, she was only allowed sleepovers with her cousins or at her grandparents' house. Her best friend is the only one who I would trust letting her stay the night at their house. I know the parents, the neighborhood is safe, my daughter knows to text me whenever something seems weird or strange. I don't want to be that paranoid parent that doesn't allow my children to do anything. I had a fun childhood and had several sleepovers with my childhood best friend and we were always safe. If people would not put their own traumas and anxiety onto their kids and meet their friends' families and just teach your children basic street smarts, I don't see an issue. I see more of an issue in the kids who are in therapy as young adults because they were never allowed to do anything or experience anything fun because of super strict and unreasonable parents. New daughter just started college and she either had or went to others for sleepovers pretty often. She had a group of 3 or 4 kids and we either hosted or she was out once a month or so. You're more concerned about your kid getting a gun than about them getting sexually abused? I'm not. Kids get abused way more than they shoot each other with guns. But yet, I see a lot of posts on social media about parents not letting their kids go to sleepovers. It's always about the risk of abuse. I've never seen any other concerns. There was a story that Crime Watch Daily covered about a sleepover. Ana Garcia and the guest speaker stated that they came from conservative immigrant families that didn't allow sleepovers because they didn't trust that the other parents would provide the same care as they did. But the story they covered was really bizarre too. It was a case about a girl having a sleepover and her head ending up making smoothies laced with a bunch of sedatives. Luckily, one of the girls was still conscious enough to text her mom that something was wrong and that they needed help. They do sleepovers on Roblox and Instagram now. No sleepovers for our kids, because I worked with abused kids and learned from experience, and in the professional development classes we had to take that it's a very high-risk scenario. A lot of abuse happens during sleepovers. I see this question frequently on my FB mother groups. Paranoid bunch. I don't trust my kids around strange men. They really don't like it when I point out that their kids are more likely to be abused by a family member. Yeesh. I remember my mom and dad cracking down on that because my mom was so worried about child molesters despite me having done plenty of times to people I know. I don't have kids yet, but I do want to at least get to know the family first and foremost before letting my kids stay with them. My friend is a lot more conservative and conspiracy theorist than liberal all me. They are terrified of everything because they watch a non-stop stream of fear and anger on FOX. Meanwhile, the biggest threat to their kids is their church youth pastor. I haven't noticed any drop. Our kids have more and go to more than I ever did in the late 80s, early 90s. Never heard of this. I have an 11-year-old and 15-year-old in Los Angeles and they both have sleepovers all the time. My kids do sleepovers. The generation that's raising kids right now grew up with stranger danger, which has pretty much been confirmed by experts to be counterproductive. Vast majority of kidnappings and sexual assaults, especially of kids, are by family or friends and only led to us being paranoid and terrified of conversations with strangers. My kids 18 and 20 now had sleepovers. My approach was to empower them to be able to tell me anything, and to be direct about abuse, so far as to tell them all the after-school special tips. I'm confident that they tell me everything. I wish they'd stop. But I'm also pretty confident that neither have been assaulted.